Let's create a Handroll React app without using any Create React app, Vite, or any other tool, and also understand what goes into a React app. So let's say we have this project. What all do we need to do to create a React app? The very first is to do create a new directory. So let's move over here, open up the terminal and say make directory Handroll React. Let's open this directory. Currently we have no files in here. So let's go back to this. Now we need to create a public directory where we will store our index.html. It can be a very simple standard index.html. So let's do that. Let's create a new folder called public. Create a new file here called index.html. Use emit feature of Visual Studio to generate this. Change the title to Handrolled React app and probably put just a header saying welcome. Now if we run this, we should see a page with welcome displayed here. Alright. Now we want to make a React app out of it. So let's add some JavaScript to it. So we will create a folder called src and put some React code in here. Let's do that. So we'll say new folder, src, put an index.js here and start writing some code like get React, React DOM, however, these libraries do not exist at the moment, and therefore if we try to run this, we are definitely going to get errors. So let's find out what we need to do to get this working. Well, we must download these libraries into our application. So we need a package.json which tells our project which libraries are there. To do this, we need to do npm init. So let's open this up and say npm init -y, which creates this package.json. You can put in more information here and we are ready to go. So let's take a look at which libraries do we require. So we need dependencies for React like React and React DOM. To do this, we would need to run a command npm install React and React.dom. So let's do that here. Npm install React and React.dom. As we see, two dependencies have been added, node modules have been created, and React DOM with its own dependencies have been installed. At this moment, if we go back, write this code, const root is equal to react dom.create root, and we need an HTML element. So let's put one here saying div. Now this HTML element is what we will get. So we'll say document.querySelector get me the div. Now we want to print something. So we will say react dot create element, create an h3 tag with no props and say welcome to React app. Now we can render this and it should appear. However, because this is multi-library app, we cannot just do run with a normal server. We need something which will bundle all these files and libraries and deliver them to the browser. And to do that, we need something else. We need WebPack. What does WebPack do? Well, WebPack takes all the JavaScript files, bundles them together, and delivers a single file to the browser. And we need this command to uh, install. So let's see how we can install this Webpack. We need to do npm install Webpack, the CLI, and the server. And this is going to be dev dependencies. So let's move over back here and say npm install Webpack, Webpack CLI, and Webpack dev server in dev dependency mode. When we go back here, we will see that it has added one more section in package.json, which is dev dependencies. So he's put all three here. And now we are ready to run this. The only thing is when we run it, so I'm going to run the Webpack dev server. We will only see welcome. We would not see what we have written in React. The reason is that while we are saying get this, we haven't actually placed the script file here. So let's say script defer so that it runs after the DOM is loaded. src is index.js. Unfortunately, this would not work. The reason is that Webpack doesn't deliver a single file. It doesn't deliver your first file. Instead, it delivers a file called main.js. So now if we go back, run this, we have a spelling mistake. Sorry for that. This should be React DOM client. And when we go back, we can see welcome to React app. So there we go. We've created a React app, used React DOM and the libraries, and we have rendered without using create React app or any other tool to create it. Now, buoyed by this, let's try and use JSX here. So instead of saying react.create element, I'm going to say welcome to hand-rolled React app. Unfortunately, this does not work because it says, hey, I have no idea what this is. Well, the thing is, React JSX is not understood by the browser. It has to be converted into React code. And to do that, what we would need to do is add another tool called Babel. What does it do? Well, it converts our JSX back to normal JavaScript code. To do this, we need to install these two software, Babel Loader and Babel Preset React. So let's go back here and stop this. Say npm install Babel Loader and Babel Preset React. They would again appear as dev dependencies. And now let's go back and run our code. It still won't work. for a simple reason that you have just downloaded the libraries. We haven't asked it to actually convert it. To do this, we need to create another file called WebPack config.js and mention that we are going to transform JSX by Babel loader, and we will convert JSX into normal JavaScript. So these are the two things that we need to define. Let's go back here, right click, create a new file, webpack config.js, do a module exports at the top level, and let's define our module by saying these are the rules that we have. And one of the first rule is if the file has a .js or JSX at the end, this is regex. So I'm saying slash dot means literally a dot. The file name should end dollar with either JS or JSX, and don't mind the case. If this happens, please first put this file through Babel loader. Now this also is not sufficient because Babel by default does not convert JSX into normal JavaScript. So we need to provide options and say, well, if it is JSX, put it through this option, this preset. Now we are ready to run this again. So let's go back, run this, and there you go. We have built a React app from ground up without using any tools, in the process learning what all goes through into a React app, and how do we deliver it. Here is the entire uh, concept visualization of what all are needed, where do you write it, where do you install it, and how do you configure. So happy reacting.